Pizza Hut presents Trevor Linden in his own words. Surprise your family with the side sampler, wings, breadsticks, and brownies. Order online or call for delivery.
When you think of, the trips you make to the rink, and obviously they're all different, whether it be a practice day, a game day, big game, early season game, which is still big but not as, and playoff games and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, this is a different one for sure.
Vancouver Canucks are pleased to use our first pick to select from the two-time Memorial Cup champions, Medicine Hat Tigers, a proud Westerner, Trevor Linden.
Out to clear the rebound. Racing after it is Linden. Curran had fallen down. Linden going for the net. He scores! Stood in front. Linden scores! This is the speedy Henneken. Drop back to Kelly. Linden scores! Vancouver wins! Front centers for Linden. He deflects and he puts it in. For centering Linden scores! This is off Linden for the record. He scores! Linden tipped it in. Trevor Linden on the deflection. Scores! And he shoots. He scores! What a job! The puck.
I remember at the time, you're 18 years old, and Stan, I remember Barry Peterson, but Stan, we were running around Empire State Stadium and getting our workouts in for the day, and you don't totally understand at the time, but Stan had been around a long time, and you just thought he was an old guy, right? Married, 2 kids, so got thinking there a few years back about, well, how old was he actually? So I, kind of did the math, and I'm like, wow, he was 32 years old. So I always kept that in mind because I always knew what the young guys are thinking of me. I was always aware, so. There was a shift in the offensive end. It was kind of a scrumming shift and puck possession, and one of those grind it out, never say die type of shifts. The fans are pretty honest, and you can't pull anything over the people in the building or the people that watch you over the years. So that was a clear indication that I think the people, the fans of the team, appreciated hard work and that sort of thing. Sometimes challenging, Sometimes Harold was funny because he'd give me a hard time, and I was 18, I was young, so. But he was great. He was good to me, and he was supportive, and it's funny because I remember when we roomed together, I think I was when he played his first NHL game, I was 2 years old, you know what I mean? So it must have been, you know, strange for him.
Steps, plays it out to center. 2 more Canucks on a rush. Linden this time. He is in. Scores. Perfect goal. Center on the right wing into the Montreal zone. He shoots. Scores. Over to Linden. Shoots. Scores. Linden in front. Scores. Point to Nordmark. Down to Linden. He shoots. He scores. What a picture goal. Linden. Now in the Vancouver zone. Linden coming out with the puck. Trevor Linden in center, coming in over the line with one man back, winding up. He shoots, he scores! Linden. He gets the ball now back to Nordmark. Linden going in. He scores! Linden.
Canucks TV, brought to you in part by Point to Point Destinations. To win next season's Canucks tickets and a vacation getaway for 2, go to Canucks.com and click on the Lucky Traveler. Canucks TV, presented by Pizza Hut. Now back to Trevor Linden in his own words.
Linden right in. He scores. Great goal. Trevor Linden. Shot scores. Linden 31.
Savage takes the shot. Tip. The rebound. They score. Linden. Puck comes in. Shot.
He scores. Nick handling to the Winnipeg line to Linden. Moving in on Olsen. Back to Roding. He shoots. Scores. It's all tied. Linden got the puck back. He shoots. Scores. Trevor Linden. Marshall might have deflected it. Vancouver wins 3-2. Vancouver goes to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Really upset at the Vancouver bench. But there is going to be that 7th game. We'll hope they can catch Linden up and get him in that one. He will play. You know he'll play. He'll play on crutches. He will play. And he'll play at Madison Square Garden. A delayed penalty coming up on New York. Glynn got the puck at center to Trevor Linden, trying to get loose, coming in on goal. He scores! Trevor Linden with a great effort.
That goal, you know, was kind of a turning point for our group, because I think that really kind of settled everybody down and said, hey, we're right there, we're right on the doorstep, and we played real strong from that point on. I felt that we were really coming on strong.
Courtnall passes. They score at the side of the net. It's Trevor Linden who has made it a 3-2 hockey game with his 2nd goal of the night.
It was probably, you know, one of the toughest times of my life. I mean, it was a real empty feeling. I mean, when you set your mind on winning something and set it on for so long, and then like that, it's gone and it's over and that's it. It took 3 or 4 days to really kind of just get over it and get back into, you know, kind of saying that, yeah, you know, we played as hard as we could but lost, and no one will ever take that away from us.
It's interesting because I broke my nose like 2 shifts before the end of the game. Richter hit me with his goalie stick. He'd playing a puck and he hit me with across the nose with his stick. And so I was actually on my knees at the side of the, waiting to shake hands, trying to straighten my nose back up again because it's about the 3rd time that playoff that had been broken. So, but it was pretty dejected, pretty disappointing for sure. I mean, anytime you get that close to winning the ultimate prize and you don't, and you spend 2 months chasing it, it was hard. I think it took a long time, you know, because you don't get something, you don't get that close to something you dreamed about getting and want so bad and then not get it and just walk out the door and say, well, maybe next year. It just doesn't happen. I mean, you lose in 4 straight and I'd say, well, we weren't good enough, but you lose in 7 and it's hard. That day, my brother had a videotape out and he was like asking me some questions or whatever. And my face was like just like a Skeletor face, you know, and my nose was crooked, my eye was black, and guys definitely left it on the table for sure. You know, they left it all out there. It was great because it was a great time in my life, you know, and for the city of Vancouver, it was so much fun that spring.
We've never loved noise as much as we love it tonight. Let them hear it.
But the way it ended, I still think about it when you get that close. You know, you kind of try to put it all in perspective because every year takes on a different character, and you know everything's different. But that was obviously a special year, and we had a good team, and we were able to put it together at the right time. And Pat made a couple real good moves, you know, heading into those playoffs. And you know, I think just in the way that we won round 1 against Calgary, and you know, I remember, you know, the feeling of the city was incredible. And you know, beating Toronto here at home to win the conference was very cool. As everyone knows, the Toronto-Vancouver rivalry is pretty special.
Back at the line to Babbage, long shot, Patman had trouble with it. Adams should score! Greg Adams! Greg Adams! Adams gets the winner! 14 seconds into the second overtime.
Can you believe it? Goodbye, Toronto!
The Vancouver Canucks are going to the Stanley Cup Final! Got the puck in center to Trevor Linden, trying to get loose, coming in on goal. He scores! Trevor Linden with a great effort, with a delayed penalty in effect, and it's now 2-1. Now Courtnall passes. They score on the side of the net. It's Trevor Linden who has made it a 3-2 hockey game with his second goal of the night.
Cliff Ronnie making the feed to Courtnall. It's now a 3-2 hockey game. The second goal of the game for the great captain of Vancouver, Trevor Linden. Wonderful pass by Jeff Courtnall. No chance for Richter.
Canucks TV, brought to you in part by Point to Point Destinations. To win next season's Canuck tickets and a vacation getaway for 2, go to Canucks.com and click on the Lucky Traveler. Canucks TV, presented by Pizza Hut. Now back to Trevor Linden, in his own words.
You know, I've said this for a few years. I think at the time, it was one of those things that kind of had to happen. You know, we've gone through a major change from an organizational standpoint in ownership and management, coaching, and you know, I always, there's the saying of everything's happened for a reason, and I always say that had I never been traded, I would have never been able to come back.
I was surprised, definitely happy. I think the timing was a little strange. I maybe thought something last year was going to happen, but it didn't, so it was very good news, obviously.
For me to be able to come back to this city and this team was a special time for me, and I joined a really great group of guys. You know, Brian was managing, Dave was was assistant, Mark Crawford was the coach, so I got to come back, you know, on its upswing, and we had some great years, and so I feel pretty fortunate the way things worked out. As hard as it was to get traded, I mean, it was not easy, but you know, everything works out. A good friend of mine, Mark James, approached me in February and kind of said, "Well, listen, a friend of mine is looking for a partner. Would you be interested in doing this mountain bike race?" And I kind of thought about it for a bit, and it was an 8-day stage race which started in a little town called Mittenwald, Germany, and we raced through Austria and spent 5 days in the Dolomites in northern Italy. So I was kind of hemming and hawing, and I finally just said, you know what, I'm in, count me in. And once I committed, it was all good, and it was fantastic. It was fun to be kind of in a different environment, and the whole cycling community, you know, it's a different crowd, you know, so you kind of get talking about great bike rides or great areas to ride, and it's a whole different world, so that's kind of appealing. I went over with Mark James, who's 52, and my partner was 49 years old. Super fit guys, and we just had a blast. And so I really look at those guys as kind of mentors, because, you know, they're 50 years old and doing these, you know, incredibly tough stage races. And, you know, for them, age is just a number, right? So, and I think you really have to believe that. And so I've always wanted to kind of, you know, stay young at heart. The cycling was fun. The views were incredible. The camaraderie was great. There was 1,200 riders in this race, mostly Europeans. So we just had a blast. It was so much fun. I look at myself as a pretty young guy still, so it's an amazing thing about being a professional hockey player. You go from a very old hockey player to a very young guy very quickly. It's called, once you retire, you go to being a very young guy. So it's something I obviously think about a lot more now, and think about what that will be like. Obviously, it's such a big part of your life. It's just a fabric of what you do, what you think about, you know, how you prepare, and so it's going to be a challenge, but that's what I guess that's what life's all about. I've enjoyed the last few years, and I enjoy being part of this group, and I enjoy working with and seeing some of the young guys that have been drafted recently, and see their kind of progression. That's always fun every year. How come you guys aren't in school? You gotta have passion for what you're doing, and as Pete Twist says, you know, you got to enjoy the journey, right? And, you know, there's days where the journey isn't so much fun, but, you know, you got to enjoy that part of it. Is it affecting your golf swing? Oh? That's why I haven't done anything about it. What about your broadcasting?
Well,
when you get excited and you push up on the bench?
I don't get excited.
Well, the odd time maybe, eh? The odd time. Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. I feel mentally like I'm in a better place now than I was at 27, 28, because it seems like then I took on so much as a young player and, you know, took on so much responsibility that I really feed off some of the young guys in the room, the Kesslers and the BXs, and enjoy hanging out with those guys and talking with those guys, and, you know, kind of keeps you in perspective a little bit. It happens, goes by so quickly, you know, it's hard to think this is, when I hear that number, you know, 07, 08 season, I'm like, wow, 07, 08. We're almost through another decade here, you know, so. You know, I've trained with Pete Twist in the summers, and our running joke is that every year we get back together and it's kind of like, geez, you're right in your prime. 30 this year is 37. 37's your, you know, that's where you hit your peak right there. And 5 years ago we were saying 32, that's where you hit your prime. So. I really believe that your mind is a powerful tool, you know, and if you start buying into that whole thing, you know, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle. So. When you go into a season, I think the one thing that your one hope is that you can stay healthy, because it's just impossible to replace people, and you hope that that's the one thing you can't really control, that you need a little luck on. And it seemed like from the start we got nicked up in training camp with Sammy going down, and then just was kind of one after another. And you know, you can fight through that for a while, as we did. We rallied as hard as we could, but you know, we never seemed to get into a rhythm, especially with our defense core. They just got banged up, and you know, it's a tough league. It's a tough division we play in, and you have to be firing on all cylinders, because it's a very thin line. There was nothing more devastating. The month of October didn't go real well for us, and then that game against Nashville, where, you know, and it wasn't just guys getting hurt, it was how they got hurt. I mean, the devastation of the type of injuries, you know.
Bieksa's hurt.
Yeah, I see that.
Kevin Bieksa can't get up in his own zone.
He's cut too.
Kevin, I mean, you know, a possible career-threatening type injury, and, you know, and just the magnitude of that, and you know, the kind of the bloodshed of Sammy's injury. And
Edler trying to advance and hit his teammate in the face. The defense that's already lost Kevin Bieksa, and this is not good.
We saw him after the game, and it's just kind of like, it's one of those things where normal injuries, you know, you bang a shoulder up or whatever, you kind of, you know, it's part of hockey, but to see the type of shape Sammy was in, and just and to have two of those guys go down in the same game and lose the game, it was devastating. And then, you know, we got down to Colorado and had a real good game, and just kind of picked it up from there, and really played well. Roberto had a great month and really stabilized our team.
Takes the shot, stopped by Luongo and knocked his stick out of his hands. In on goal, Gabbard Deeks, stopped by the right pad of Roberto Luongo.
That's a beauty right there. Best of the night for Luongo.
Canucks TV, brought to you in part by Point to Point Destinations. To win next season's Canuck tickets and a vacation getaway for two, go to Canucks.com and click on the Lucky Traveler. Canucks TV, presented by Pizza Hut. Now back to Trevor Linden in his own words.
Trevor Linden. Oh, what an ovation. Listen to this place. They love Trevor here.
He has to score.
He scores here. He can run for mayor.
In on Saber, and Linden scores!
He'll win. He can run for mayor, and he'll get elected too.
I was sweating. I think the worst part about it is sitting on the bench, kind of, you know, in anticipation, waiting, and you know, trying to think of what you may do, what you may work for you, and then once you pick the puck up, you know, that's probably the easiest part because you're kind of going on instinct, which is the best thing.
Linden quickly in on Garon. Linden shoots and he scores!
Attaboy, Trevor. Great shot.
I kept it pretty simple. You know, I tried to create an angle for myself and pick a spot and make a good shot. And, you know, it's amazing the relief you had when you scored and the feeling in your stomach when you didn't. It was kind of fun because it was an opportunity to help the team to make a difference.
Went in with speed, with confidence.
Trevor Linden, third shooter, here he comes.
I put the expectation certainly higher, and then you expect to score. And so, you know, it's one of those things, you get a little bit of success and you feel some confidence, and you just have that feeling you can score.
Linden in on DiPietro, shades left, in on goal, scores!
He's done it again. Mr. Clutch in the shootout. Trevor Linden. The people knew what they were doing.
It was fun. It was nice to be in a position where you were counted on.
Linden's got to score to extend the game. On the forehand, in on goal, scores!
Here comes our boy.
He comes out aggressively for Golub does. Linden, oh, what a shot! That's why he's the number 3 selection for Alain Vigneault.
In on Saber, and Linden scores!
It was cool. It was a really, I mean, for me it was a very special trip. When he comes out here, my other brothers are here, and you know, I've got things I'm doing. I've got hockey stuff or whatever I'm doing, so it gets busy. But for that 4 days, it was just him and I, and you know, it was good. We sat on the plane together. We sat on the bus together, and so it was a special time for sure. It was interesting. He asked me the season before if it was possible if he could come on a road trip, and I was like, you know, Alain was just there, and I just didn't feel right about, you know, asking the team, hey, can my dad come on a trip? So we didn't do it, and then Dave and Alain brought this up to us in training camp, and it was kind of like, wow. And for my dad, I've been in a National Hockey League for 20 years, and he'd never really been part of a road trip, and he did a pretty good job, I have to say. I was very concerned at what may happen on the trip, and I think for him it was more about how we did it, you know, how we transferred from bus to plane to hotel to what our life was like on the road outside of the actual game, because he's been to Calgary to watch us and stuff, but to get a sense of how we did things. So it was a great trip, and you know, like my dad said, and it's true, he said, you know, this is probably the most quality time I've spent with you in years. And even the camaraderie between the guys, because everyone was in the same boat. We all had our dads there, right? So we were all our father's sons for that trip. So it was very special. It was very fun. Yeah, it was hard. For me, in the summertime, I kind of promised myself that whatever happened, and I didn't know what was going to happen. You never know heading into a season. You know, the one thing I'd promised to myself was that I was going to make the best of whatever hand I was dealt and to be positive with the guys and be a good teammate. The last thing I wanted to be was to be a distraction or dragging my lip because I wasn't playing. So, and that was a challenge. I had to work hard at it because it's, as a competitor, you want to get in there and play and help. And there were times I felt pretty unimportant, and but you know, I wanted to say and do the right things around the guys, work hard in practice, and make sure that you know, I was, you know, representing myself and doing the right things as a team. So, and the one thing is, you know, I like the guys. You know, I enjoyed our team, and we had good guys and you know, young guys that were trying to create a spot for themselves. So it was the least I could do was to support them.
Canucks TV, brought to you in part by Point to Point Destinations. To win next season's Canucks tickets and a vacation getaway for two, go to Canucks.com and click on the Lucky Traveler. Canucks TV, presented by Pizza Hut. Now back to Trevor Linden, in his own words.
In front now, Ritchie steals the puck, centers, Linden scores! He flipped it in over Kiprasov, he'd gone down. This is Linden's time of the year. Now he gets back to Weaver, long shot. Where's the puck? Linden scores! His second of the period.
That was fun. That was a fun game. It was a big game for us. It was very, you know, huge to keep our playoff hopes alive, and you know, it was against arch rival in Calgary. So to contribute offensively is always special, and for me to get a couple goals was a lot of fun. It was a fun night. So it's a game I'll remember. No doubt about it.
How does he do it? This is the #1 star of the hockey game. Here he is.
Linden.
I was really overwhelmed, I have to say. Sometimes I don't completely understand it. I feel extremely fortunate. I mean, to be part of a great city and to play a game that I've loved and I've always dreamed of playing, and then to be appreciated for that like I am is very special. I was blown away at the type of response I received.
They're delaying the start of the third period here as the fans salute Trevor Linden with a standing ovation in what could be his final NHL game. And Trevor is saluting them back.
Oh, is that ever neat what his teammates did? His line mates all backed off to the blue line, left Linden on the red line. He said, come on, let's get the game going. But what a wonderful tribute to really one of the classiest players ever to wear the Canucks sweater, and that's Trevor Linden. And the fans revere this guy.
Disappointing year, you know, and for the disappointment that the fans are feeling about the performance of our team and missing the playoffs, and certainly the score in the game.
Lots of memories through the years, and now they come to their feet.
Linden's back out there.
Linden onto the ice for the final seconds of the game as this one comes to an end. And both the season and maybe a career are over.
Room. The Canucks are all out on the ice. Everybody is giving Trevor Linden a big hug. I think the players know it. He might have even said something to the players before the game that this is my last one, guys. And they're just mobbing Trevor right now. Everybody taking their turns to wish him good luck, good health.
Clap of the hands for the Calgary team. A very classy gesture.
I knew they were lining up.
Just Trevor's hand. And they're actually coming back from the dressing room. I bet Mike Keenan has something to do with this.
Oh, he might have. And Keenan, remember, traded Linden. But, you know, it could have been Jerome McGinley, too. You don't know who did this, but this is a real classy move by the Calgary Flames. Nobody's left the building that's here. So what has been a disappointing year hockey-wise, this is just spine-tingling stuff right now.
And Adrian Aucoin in his suit did not dress tonight. He comes out to center ice to hug his former teammate, Trevor Linden.
It was really remarkable that, and it was, like I said, it was overwhelming.
Now Trevor salutes the fans, gives his heart a tap, says thank you to everybody here in attendance.
This is almost like a Gretzky-Messier goodbye that we saw at Madison Square Garden with the Rangers. And, you know, I've never seen this in Canucks history, where one player has captured the imagination of a city like Trevor Linden has in our city. And boy, are they showing it here tonight.
I'm not sure I completely understand why, but you know, I've always been treated so well by the people of Vancouver, and it's a great honor. It's very special.
Canucks TV, brought to you in part by Point-to-Point Destinations. To win next season's Canucks tickets and a vacation getaway for two, go to Canucks.com and click on the Lucky Traveler. Canucks TV, presented by Pizza Hut. Now back to Trevor Linden, in his own words.
Pretty amazing that it's been that long. I remember, obviously, and so much of the credit has to go to Arthur Griffiths, who this was his vision and his concept. And you know, when he first floated the idea, I was 21 years old or whatever, and kind of didn't really understand the magnitude of it. But if you look at what a beautiful property this and what an impact this has had on not only the city but the province, it's pretty incredible. And to see it where it is now and to be part of kind of the whole dream, I guess, in a small way, is pretty neat. For me, Canuck Place was finished in '95, and I met a young boy early in the '90s that just through hospital visits and stuff, that, if my recollection is right, he passed away in '94, I think. So, you know, I think for a young guy like I was, it was a pretty realistic view of what happens, you know. So I think that just made a place like Canuck Place and Children's Hospital and Ronald McDonald House all that more important. For me, when you meet not only the kids, but you meet the families, it is very inspirational, and I always enjoy, and it's interesting because the kids, I always find, are fearless, right? They are full speed ahead, and really a source of inspiration for me. And the parents are the ones that I spend some time with talking to, because I know, as any parent would feel, what they must be going through, or try to understand and talk with them, because I know that it's nothing more difficult than that situation. So places like this, or the other great places that we have, are super important to not only kids, but their whole family.
Canucks TV, brought to you in part by Point-to-Point Destinations. To win next season's Canucks tickets and a vacation getaway for two, go to Canucks.com and click on the Lucky Traveler. Canucks TV, presented by Pizza Hut. Now back to Trevor Linden, in his own words.
Hey, this is the last time, right?
I guess so, eh?
Be Mo.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, how you doing?
Different day,
Different day, yes. How you doing?
Good.
Nice.
We have your last NHL game. And more importantly, we have your last NHL game.
Oh. So when I scored, so you were thinking ahead.
I was thinking, you scored twice. The first goal, they continued to play with it, went into the stands. So I was like, oh no. But the second goal.
Oh, Red, you're a good man.
Worked with it.
"20 years ago today, I was drafted on the floor of the Montreal Forum by the Vancouver Canucks. At 18 years old, I can tell you I didn't know much, but I did know that I loved the game of hockey, and I was determined to play in the NHL. What I did not know is that I was moving to the best city in the world, would play for a fantastic organization, and be able to play in front of the most passionate hockey fans in the world. As I step away from the game today and move into the next chapter of my life, I definitely have mixed emotions. I know the time is right, but there is sadness. Where did 20 years go? I will miss the game, all of the people involved in the game, and definitely the buzz of game day. When I left Vancouver in February of '98, it was a very sad day for me. Even though I knew it had to be that way, it was still very difficult. When I received the call from Brian Burke in '01 telling me I was coming home, I did not know what to think. My 10 years had been so special, I was concerned it wouldn't be the same. Well, it wasn't the same. It was better. I'd like to thank Brian, Dave, Steve, and Coach Crawford for taking a chance. As sad as I am at leaving the game today, I'm very excited about the new challenges that lie ahead and the next chapter of my life. It's not every day you get to go from an old hockey player to a young man. Every fan that came to the rink, the graciousness that you have shown me on the streets and around BC has been amazing. For the people that were at my last game on April 5th, I want to say thank you. Words cannot describe how I felt and still feel. Although it should have been me saluting you, thank you for making me feel so special. I will never forget it. I want to thank my teammates last year and over the years for making this game the best game in the world. The privilege I've enjoyed being associated with some of the most amazing people is irreplaceable. Thank you very much. I'll miss the guys, like I said. I mean, incredible guys and good people you get to spend a lot of your day with. And sometimes I think you take that for granted. I mean, I didn't last year, and I tried not to because I was recognized that probably the end was around the corner. So, but definitely missed that. And, you know, the one thing that really miss is just the satisfaction of playing well and winning a game, you know, and having a meaningful role in that game. There's a special feeling and rush that you get from that.
Ritchie and onto the right wing. Trevor Linden slap shot. Scores!
It's going to get tough in late August and September when the body is saying and the mind is saying you should be doing something and you're not. So that'll be interesting. And you know, I enjoy working out as a lifestyle for me, but it'll be really difficult when I'm not part of something I have been for a long time. I mean, it's all I've done for the last 25 years is get prepared for September, because that's hockey season. It's a bit daunting for sure, and you never know where you're going to be emotionally. You know, you can't put yourself there because until you're actually there. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a day-by-day thing for sure.
That's why it's such a great day. I mean, not every day you get to sit down for an hour, talk to a bunch of your colleagues, the media, and then walk out of the room and become just a young guy and not have that tag of veteran/old hockey player. So we got to look at the positives, right?
Trevor Linden, in his own words, has been a special presentation of Canucks TV.